What's happening, guys? So good to be with you. Last week, we were talking about how even in the middle of this really weird time that we're in, Jesus, he is still Lord and he is near to us. And this week, we're talking all about joy. So this is from Philippians 4. It says this: rejoice in the Lord always. I say it again, rejoice. Super simple today, super short verse. But there's something interesting what we've just read there where it says rejoice in the Lord always. And that word always we can't get away from, because it doesn't say rejoice in the Lord when life is good, or rejoice in the Lord when you're not busy and you've got some time, or rejoice in the Lord when you feel like it. What it says is rejoice in the Lord always, in every season, no matter what's going on. So what does it look like to do that, to rejoice in the Lord and to have joy in our lives in a time like this? And I want to say that there's two important truths we need to get our heads around to help us live this out. The first is that joy is a choice, and the second is that joy is a gift. So firstly, joy is a choice. Now, if you hear the words choose joy, we might think choosing joy just means you have to smile a lot. You just have to be happy no matter what's going on. Kind of makes me remember when I was a kid and we'd have those awkward family photos, you know, where you're just kind of done with it. Like whatever the activity for the day was, wherever you went, you're like, I just want to go home, I just want to get back to the car, and you just can't be bothered, and there's a big argument that ensues, and so you're like, okay, fine, I'll smile for this picture. And then when it comes to taking the picture, it's like cheese, and you're just kind of like, you know, like trying to get like a genuine smile out, but really it's just not in you, and you're just like, and then you end up looking like this really awkward member of the family that doesn't want to be there. But that whole fake awkward smile thing, is that what rejoicing in the Lord means? You know, just forget about it if you're having a bad time, push all those negative feelings down, squash them down, and just smile. I don't think that's what God's asking us to do here. I don't think it's about pretending to be happy when we're not, or acting as if everything is okay when it isn't. But I do think that joy is something that we can choose. So a few months ago, I joined a gym. Not like that. More like that. So I would go and I would run on the treadmill, and initially, man, it was flipping hard work. But the more I did it, my capacity for doing this exercise increased and I was able to do it better. My body had trained itself and it just felt like a natural thing to do. It didn't feel like every muscle in me was screaming, what are you doing? It was fine. It was like, it was okay for a while, and then the muscles would scream. The more times I did it, the more natural it felt. And it is the same with joy. If we practice choosing joy in every situation, guess what? We'll get better at it. Joy is like a muscle that we can grow. And the flip side of that is that if we choose to look at every situation with a negative view, with a kind of a negative lens on, then that starts to become the way that we see the world. But actually, we have the ability in hard situations where it feels like the negative stuff is just slapping us in the face. It's right there, we can't ignore it. Instead of pretending that it isn't there, we can actually choose to have joy in those moments instead. Choose to rejoice in the Lord in those times. It's all very well me saying choose joy, but how do we actually do that? Well, the answer to that is in our last point. Joy is a gift. To find out a bit more, there's only one place we can go. It's kitchen time.
Kitchen time, kitchen time, get ready everybody, it's kitchen time. Kitchen time, kitchen time, get ready everybody, it's kitchen time. Kitchen time.
Welcome everyone to Kitchen Time. This is the moment where we take an object, an item from the kitchen, and use it to help us describe what we're talking about a little bit more. Last week we went for the sieve and you guys absolutely loved it. We were getting comments left, right and centre, and you're probably thinking, Dave, how are you going to beat the sieve? You've maxed out the sieve. Have a little faith, guys, because this week we're going even bigger. This week it's the washing up bowl. Let's say that we're this washing up bowl full of water, that this is our life, and then these dishes that come along, they're just like stuff in life. So that could be friends, family, that could be school, that could be your relationships, that could be stuff that you love doing, your hobbies or whatever. It could be stuff that's not great as well. That could be stuff that's really bad in life, like sin or disappointment or pain or whatever. And life can just be a bit like this. It's all just kind of mixed in, jumbled in, and that's what our life looks like. And in this situation, we can't find joy ourselves. We can't just make it happen just by shuffling things around and maybe doing more things that we enjoy. It doesn't really change anything. It doesn't bring us more joy. But when we receive joy from Jesus, it's a bit like this. We ask him for joy and he comes and fills our life. You see, joy isn't something that we can make happen on our own. Joy is a reaction to what Jesus is doing. We can't help it, but it just spills out into other areas of our lives. And this right here, this is what I want others to see when they look in my life. I want them to see this joy that can't be hidden, even when stuff in life might feel like it's getting on top of us. That joy is still there. There's just this undercurrent of joy in everything that we can't hide. In every situation, it's about asking God to come and fill us with the joy that only he can give. And then we're not faking it. We don't have to pretend that we're happy when we're not, but there's a reaction that happens that's beyond our control and that's from God. And that is what joy is like. There's a guy called Jasper Rutherford who does some amazing youth work in Ireland, and he says this about joy. Joy is not just about being happy for a few hours. Joy is bigger. It's deeper than happiness, wider than contentment, and greater than fulfillment. Joy is the unmistakable reality that I am loved by the Father. For us, living with joy in every situation, it's embracing that reality that I am loved by the Father. And I want you guys to say this out loud, wherever you are, in your bedroom or whatever you're doing while you're watching this, to say out loud, I am loved by the Father. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, I don't know if you said that or not, but I bet a bunch of people didn't, and so I'm going to give you a second chance. And if you did say it first time round, you get to say it twice, so lucky you. But I want you to say after 3, I am loved by the Father. 1, 2, 3. I think it's important that we speak this out, this truth that is so central, so core to what it means to follow Jesus. We need to know in the center of our being that we are loved by him no matter what. Because when we choose to live in that reality, no matter what happens around us, joy can't help but spring up. It's a reaction. So in every situation where things are tough, remember, I am loved by the Father. I've sinned again. I've messed up again. I am loved by the Father. I'm scared of the future. I don't know what's around the corner. I am loved by the Father. Guys, take this truth, embrace it, and you'll live with a joy that is infectious to those around you.